Your menstrual cycle probably affects your performance in more ways than anything else, probably. Um, Understanding how to adapt your training, whether that's to do more, to do less, different ways of recovering, different nutrition aspects. If that can then affect your performance, then it's huge. And this is something that you can't just turn on and off either. It's there. It's part of being a woman. It's part of a woman's life in general. So in sport, it's huge, and it can have such a big effect on the way that we perform and our capabilities. 2019 at the World Cup, an article came out that Dawn had released about the work that she'd been doing with the US team. Obviously, they won the World Cup, and it was fine margins. The reason that they won the World Cup, and potentially this is a fine margin that we hadn't explored. We'd never really explored to this full extent, to help bridge that gap between us hitting semi-finals and getting gold medals. It's one of those things that gives you an extra inch. When you actually know all the information about how menstrual cycles affect your body. I talked about there's certain times within a 4-week period, there's certain times where you're more prone to getting inflammation in your body. Now, if you're talking about playing a game every couple of days, imagine if your body's swelling up more than it normally does. But actually, if you've planned for that, you've changed your nutrition, you've changed your recovery plan to fix that, then that's going to help you recover quicker for the next game and the next game, which means by the end of the tournament, you're going to be fresher legs. And I know that's something that really affected me in the tournament, was the energy was just getting drained out of me. And potentially that was something that I didn't really have any information about, to understand that I've got work on an energy deficient sometimes. Sometimes I need more food. Sometimes I need different kinds of food just to help my body recover, because every time you do exercise, you're tearing your muscle, and that's swelling, inflammation. And actually, there's a certain time in the period where that is like twice as bad. Set routine that male players are follow, and it's the same all the time. Whereas actually, ours work on a 4-week cycle where we need to constantly adapt it to help us. So yeah, I think it has a huge part to play, and it potentially could be the difference, or a difference. The way that I like to look at the menstrual cycle in sport is that it's a sporting factor. It's black and white. It's performance factor, the same as drinking protein shakes is performance factor. Doing extra runs on the pitch is a performance factor. So your period is a performance factor. And I think it's something, obviously, Dawn brought it in when Phil Neville was still the manager. Phil was all for it. He understood that this was something that was going to make his players perform better when we were playing. And his job ultimately as a coach was for us to perform well and to win games. And even at Man City, most of our staff are actually male. Our medics, a lot of our medics, sports scientists are both male. They know more information about it than me. They're probably more comfortable than most girls about speaking about it, because they're literally like, right, you're on your period, right, we need to do this. If this was in men's sport, there definitely would have been research in it. I think it's like anything. You look at facts and figures and data, I bet you could find probably 20 times as much data on the men's side than on the women's side. Even at, say, a World Cup where there might be equal amount of games, I can still bet that you would find more data on the men's games, because there's more resources put into it, there's more money put into it. So the fact that periods is only a thing that affects female athletes, it does not surprise me that people haven't bothered to do the research or to spend the time or the money, when actually it's something that probably needs more scientific research behind it than certain other aspects of the sport. I'm 29, and I play in a senior environment, and it's spoken about in our changing room, definitely, like, regularly, 100%, about I'm on my period and wearing white shorts. It's probably, you become more comfortable when you come older, because you know that it's just part and parcel of being a woman, but it's definitely a subject that's spoken about regularly. I think it's just about making it more of a comfortable subject to speak about. I think in sport we're making it that way, and hopefully that kind of just drips into society, that it becomes more of a normal subject.